Inspirators, it's Inspiring Vanessa here, and welcome back to another fabulous interview for all of you. I hope you're all staying safe, staying positive, and as you guys probably seen by the stories or basically just my Instagram account, today's guest is actually an entrepreneur. I feel like I interview a variety of different people, but today I thought this was a very special kind of interview to do so that you guys can kind of get some cool business ideas flowing, especially that we have a lot of time on our hands in lockdown. But today's guest is Julianne Ponan, and she is the founder of Creative Nature. So she is an entrepreneur, and I'm super excited to be discussing with her a bit about how to grow your own business, how to be a successful entrepreneur, and also basically what you can do to stay motivated, because we are humans at the end of the day and we all do go through hard times. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm super excited, so let's get straight into it. Okay. Hello!
Hey! How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How's quarantine been treating you so far?
It's definitely been interesting. Lots going on. I've been a bit manic throughout the whole time. Haven't stopped pretty much. We had like maybe 2 days off in the full time. So it's been a nightmare. What about you?
I mean, it's good to still work hard, but we still need to have relaxing days. I mean, I've been up to quite a lot of schoolwork, still obviously posting online, like doing these interviews, and also a lot of content has been going up on YouTube as well, so still being productive, but still giving time to myself to watch Netflix and things like that. So the first question I have for you for this interview to start off is, how did the business idea for Creative Nature come about?
So really, it was my own anaphylaxis. So I'm allergic to a lot of things. A lot of people would say everything. I'm allergic to like nuts, chickpeas, lentils, sesame, you name it, I pretty much have it. And what happens for me is I suffer from anaphylaxis, so I stop breathing when I have an allergy, and that can be to touching the product as well. So I wanted to create something that was completely free from the top 14 allergens, and yeah, that's how Creative Nature all came about.
How did the name come about? Because the name is very catchy as well. For any business idea, it's like, well, everybody needs to remember it. So how did the idea of like the name come about?
The name is an interesting one because the name was already there. So when I was 22, I bought a business and it was called Creative Nature, but I actually really didn't like the name. I wanted to change it completely, but in the end didn't, because I fought so hard to get the trademarks through for it, for the brand. I ended up keeping the name, but as you say, it is quite catchy. Like, we create things, so it's really creative, and we've had to be really creative in the kitchen, and we've wanted everything really natural, so it does actually kind of work, but I wasn't too keen on it at the beginning.
Wasn't keen on it in the beginning, but it still came together. It still kind of showed through. But yeah, obviously it is creative and it is still nutritious, and obviously, as you were saying yourself, anybody who has allergies like you do, they can actually be free, or they can be safe with actually eating the foods as well, or the snacks. So I think the name is really perfect for the brand itself, which is always important for any business idea. So you have been in the business industry for quite a while. What would you say has been the most important thing you've learned in your journey?
I would say, oh, that's so hard. The most important thing.
You can give us a top 3 if there are quite a lot of them.
Okay, I'd say starting out is really important. So no matter what, even if you're going to start small, just start. Like, for example, with you just went out there, you took to the stage, and you developed along the way. And I think that's really important. You're never going to unless you win the lottery, you're never going to have enough money or enough time, all of those things, to actually get going. So you kind of just have to take it a day at a time. So that would be my sort of number one. And then after that, I'd say surrounding yourself with the right people. It can be very lonely as an entrepreneur when you start out. You can feel really sad at times and you feel like you just don't want to get up in the morning, things like that, but you have to keep going. And I found surrounding myself with other like-minded people really helped me, and helped me develop as an entrepreneur, learn their strategies, learn what makes their business tick. And then thirdly, I would say celebrate the wins as well. It's really important, obviously, to have that big end goal, but it's also great to just go out there, let your hair down at times.
Yeah, give yourself the credit for the smaller goals that are kind of building up towards the larger one. But as you were saying, surrounding yourself with the right people is extremely important, and it makes such a massive impact on your mental health. If you surround yourself with people who are negative, soon you're going to start becoming a negative person. You're going to be talking negatively, you're not going to be as energized. But if you surround yourself, I think it's like a quote, but people are like, if you surround yourself with millionaires or business owners, soon you'll have a millionaire mindset, or you'll start wanting to create a business. So I think that impact is so important. Surround yourself with people who will support you, and that obviously help you grow mentally and also your business as well. The next question I have for you is, as we all are human, and in lockdown we've been quite tired, a bit exhausted, a bit drained, not as productive as it would be beforehand, but what would you say are some of your tips on staying motivated, or how did you stay motivated when you kind of felt down or you had a setback in the business?
That's actually something I got asked as well on one of the questions I put up. They put Vanessa is so young, how does she stay motivated?
Oh, well, you can answer first and then I can answer that question as well.
Okay, well, for me, I actually lacked a lot of motivation in the sort of middle period, and I wasn't doing my regular exercise. I wasn't doing Zumba, I wasn't eating well. I was eating like pizza and just things that I wouldn't normally eat on a regular basis, and that made me feel a lot less motivated than normal. So I'd say getting back to a routine is really important. I'd also say listening to a lot of music really has helped me over this period. I've been alone in the office, so I had like Disney songs blasting out. I'm not gonna lie, I've never given up my childish ways with Disney. I absolutely
like
love
Disney
it
as well. It's just a kind of a guilty pleasure.
Exactly. So I've had like Moana, Frozen, all of that on to get me through. Just, it's really uplifting. And then obviously all those late nights, I've been getting really tired a lot of the time. And I found things like spirulina, for example, one of the products we do, it really helps in terms of the energy levels that it gives me. Yeah, I'd say those are the main things to keep motivated. And then talking to people, like just dropping someone a message saying, hey, how are you? How are you doing? That's really helped because they're going through probably a similar thing. Maybe they're not working, but they might be at home really bored and they found nothing to do. So they also want to have something to do and talk to me. But yeah, what about you? What would you say?
Definitely, as you were saying, like calling my friends or like just messaging my friends like really helps me. Obviously, I'm not at school, and I was so used to obviously going to school every single day, apart from the weekend, obviously, and seeing my friends going on the bus, that normal routine. So now when my school closed, I was like, so what are we going to do now, kind of thing. So I think I was a bit lost in the beginning, and then when all the schoolwork started coming in online, my head was just kind of all over the place. So I think my favourite ways, or my best ways of staying motivated would probably get enough sleep. I mean, I get a bit too much sleep, to be honest, so I should probably start fixing up my school. That's alright, that's my cat. She just wants to have a little feature in the live.
So cute. What's your cat called again?
Her name is Joey. Every now and then her tail just kind of shows up behind me in the interviews, but I think my favorite ways, or my main ways of staying motivated, is definitely trying to do everything one step at a time, especially with like obviously social media and then having to do schoolwork as well. On the weekend, on the weekends, also on Wednesdays, I kind of just take a whole day off to relax, because I usually have that at school anyways, because I do lots of performing arts and visual arts on Wednesdays. So I was like, you know what, it's fair for me, if I'm working super hard during the week, I can just have one day during the weekdays to just kind of relax and sit back and just let my kind of head breathe, you can say. So definitely going through everything one step at a time, because I can get so stressed and overwhelmed so easily. So I think just kind of going through everything, writing to-do lists, staying super organized, and still kind of planning out your day so that you're still doing the work you're meant to do, still being productive, then you're also still having time to relax as well, like in the evening. So I think just kind of that good maintenance of just having that work mode and then also that relaxing mode.
You are absolutely incredible. Most people your age would never say things like that. That is amazing. I'm sure your mum has, teaches you how to organise your day as well amazingly. Honestly, organisation helps so much. Just having that little plan at the beginning of the day is fantastic.
I mean, my mum is a massive advocate for just like time schedule, like time management. For me, I'm like the worst person with time. Like I could be doing something and then like an hour or 2 hours passes and I'm like, where did this time go? Or I'm just like I'm just spending a lot of time doing one thing rather than just kind of speeding through it instead of procrastinating about it. But my mum is definitely a good impact on me, making me kind of work a bit harder, not slack off on my things that I'm meant to be doing, that I would have been doing if I wasn't in lockdown. Yeah.
Well, you're doing amazing things. Look at you've got your new Amazon show as well coming up.
Yes.
How incredible is that? Like, that's
Thank you.
Honestly insane. I'm so proud and so pleased, like, to see how far you've come from seeing you on the stage talking, raising money for charity to this. Like, it's just, you have to mention something about that. It's just amazing.
Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, the show is a massive achievement, just not only for me but for my mum as well, just for both of us, because we're like a team. The people who know us personally, it's like, oh, so do you have like a manager, like a person who films your videos, edits your videos? Well, actually, no, we're the whole media production team for Inspiring Vanessa.
Amazing.
My mum sometimes edits the videos. She runs some of my social media accounts. Then I edit the videos. She kind of sorts out a bit of like the YouTube description. But otherwise, it's very much a joint effort. So I felt when the show came out, especially in lockdown, it was like, well, this is the best time for it to come up, because there's no really other excuse. I mean, if you have Amazon Prime and you are bored, then watch the show, because not only are you just keeping yourself entertained, but you're also learning something as well. So I think the show is really amazing. We've got 3 episodes on there currently right now. So if anybody hasn't watched it already, it's the Inspiring Vanessa show. It's on Amazon Prime and you can watch the episodes. And also make sure to put a review down there, because I do reshare those on my Instagram stories.
That's incredible. Like, I think that's so important for you to share that, though, that it is you and your mum, because a lot of people seem to think like behind the scenes there's like these huge teams, and there really isn't. Like, it is you and your mum doing those videos, and it's trying to put that content out there, and it's difficult. It's not going to be easy all the time, and people don't see that. They just think, oh, you must have an agent, like it's done so professionally, it has to be an agent. But yeah, I got that a lot early on as well, like, oh, you must have a huge team behind you. And no, my team is absolutely fantastic, like they're all incredible, but yeah, there isn't that many of us, and we have built things as we've gone along.
Definitely, people only see the top of the iceberg, you can say. They don't see all the hard work that goes behind it. They just see like the end result of it, and it's like, well, actually this was in the making for how many years or how long, and we've been doing it day and night working on it. But the next question I have for you is, have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur? And if not, how did you discover you wanted to become a business owner?
For me, I have always wanted to put my name to something. It's sort of like a bug. It's like in your blood. It's like, I don't know what it is, but I've always had that want to do something of my own. And I think you are pretty similar. You've always wanted to do something, not always knowing exactly what, and I think that's the hardest part. But I think it is mainly sort of trying to figure out what you can do to help the world, what could make it just a little bit better. And for me, because I suffered from the allergies, I was like, well, how do I make my own life better? And maybe other people who suffer from allergies too, I can make their lives easier too. So it sort of fell together quite nicely for me. And then when I met you, actually only a year before I met you, I would never talk on stages. Like, I used to puke.
My mum is the same. She does not like public speaking, but she'll talk to you like for an hour or so, just like up to like person to person. But she goes on stage, she doesn't like it. Like, absolutely not.
Except so it's not for everyone. And when I first did it, I was petrified. But I did it, and then as I told my story more and more, I think you got used to it. But not only that, I started to enjoy it. So it was fantastic to see. But I know exactly how your mum feels. I did not want to be getting up on stage.
I mean, it's really funny because when I started doing speaking, I wanted to be a speaker. I was like, well, there's no one in my family who does public speaking or does some kind of like performing arts. So I was like, well, I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm still going to go with it anyways. But my mum is very bubbly, very outgoing. She sees one of her friends like on the street, she'll be talking to them for the next half an hour.
Oh, that's mum on
stage. If she goes on stage, she does not know what to say. So she's kind of like which one are you going to go with? But otherwise, I still do love her, even though she can be really chatty at sometimes, and then she's obviously a bit more nervous when she goes on stage as well.
I also actually wanted to introduce you to someone who's tuning in at the moment, who I've explained you're an absolute inspiration to. She's actually, her name's Thelina, and her tag is Allergies in Bold. And what she's done, she's quite young, she's 16 years old, and she's trying to raise her profile for allergies awareness at the moment. And she's being quite shy, but she's getting out there. And what would you give it some tips, as you've obviously really gone out there and done that, even though you haven't had people behind you who, like your family, haven't actually done that to you doing it?
I mean, I feel like I can give a massive thank you to obviously doing speaking. The first time I went on stage, I was completely nervous. I didn't even want to do it at first. But obviously, as I continued, oh, my voice is really croaky. As I continued, to, oh my goodness, I need some water.
Oh God.
Hello? Okay, my voice is back. Apologies for that. But I feel like during my speaking journey, or carrying on speaking at different events, obviously made my confidence grow without me even doing it on purpose. But in terms of getting out there, just kind of think about, or just go step by step, take baby steps. You don't need to start going and speaking on stages or doing a 4-hour speech on stage. Nobody is forcing you to do that, not asking you to do a TED talk or anything like that, unless you actually applied for it. But I think just go step by step, start speaking to more people about it, and just kind of think about, well, if this person isn't going to support me, then I'm stopping myself from helping someone else or helping more people. So if you ever get any negative feedback, take that as constructive criticism and work towards that and improve on that. But otherwise, just go step by step. And you need to have a lot of self-worth in yourself. Just kind of know who you are and what this business and brand is going to do for other people. And as long as you keep having that in your head and you're just well, even if this person doesn't enjoy what I do, I still know why I'm doing this, and I still know who I've helped and who I can help from it. So I think it's really important to just go step by step and just still know your worth and know the worth of the business or the brand.
That's a great answer.
Thank you. The next question is, what is the hardest thing about being an allergy advocate? Because when you first said it, I was like, I didn't know there were that many different allergies that somebody could have. So what is it like being an allergy advocate, and what's the hardest thing about it?
I would say the hardest thing is the judgment and saying something wrong. Allergies can be different for lots of different people, the way they react to them. Also, as well, if you have a child that suffers from allergies and you actually don't suffer yourself, I think that's a very different type of the way you react to certain things. So I think when I put out my story, I was really worried that people would judge me and say, oh, either things like I've had in the past, like, oh, you could have a tiny bit of peanut, it would be fine, like, don't worry. And I've been like,
no.
I could die.
It doesn't work like that.
Exactly, that's what I was like, and they're like, oh, don't worry about it, stop complaining about it, and things like that. And you're like, I wish you would just believe me. Like, it would be a lot easier than me having to actually have an anaphylactic shock and then you believe me. So that was too difficult. And then, of course, because I built my brand around it, and the whole point is to help people who suffer from allergies, but also people who don't and just want to eat good food. It was really difficult for me to go, oh yeah, I suffer from allergies, and by my brand, try it. And I just felt, should I be saying that? Like, how should I go about saying that? Because I didn't want to come across as not authentic, as it's so important. Like, I want allergy sufferers and people like you who try my brand to believe in me and believe in what I do and just genuinely like the product. So that did scare me a lot when I did put my story out there.
I mean, obviously with you being an allergy advocate, it would have been a bit weird if you made a whole brand and you didn't have any allergies yourself. So you'd create the brand for it, but you'd still be eating stuff that you know other people can't eat. So that authenticity is definitely there. But also with anyone needs to be careful what they say online, because you could be really successful in the future in like 10 or 5 years time, and people can dig up a lot of different things. It's actually insane. So somebody could find something you said that you didn't really mean, but you still need to be really aware of who you could kind of offend, even if you didn't mean it in the first place. That's a really big thing, obviously, online, saying things that you know are nice to people, and if you're going to say something rude and you still know it's going to hurt people, then obviously don't post it if you knew in the first place. But thank you for obviously explaining that, because a lot of people need to get a bit more education on it and not just think of it as something you can brush off your shoulders, because it could be a life or death situation if you think about it in the most serious terms.
Yeah, especially on a plane or something like that. It's a very scary thing. But no, I think it's important to share the story and completely echo what you said about when you say something online, it's out there forever. So just be mindful of what you say, and also just be kind, like be nice. I know you don't need to be overly nice and all of that, but just a few kind words will go a long way. Just commenting on people's posts, saying, oh yeah, this is amazing, when it actually is. Like, instead of trying to tear people down, if we all just try and build each other up, it would be a lot nicer world, I believe. Which actually brings me to a question that I got about Black Lives Matter, and obviously you've been doing a lot around this, especially this big campaign that's going on at the moment. Now, someone asked, how did you feel about being at the protests?
Well, when I was seeing it all over, like on Instagram, obviously it's all over the news as well. And then obviously I have TikTok, so whenever I went on my For You page, or even just my following, I could just see a bunch of people obviously posting about it. So my first reaction to it was, obviously I was devastated. I was like, how can this even happen? How has we as a world come to this? Like, is this really what we're kind of living in 2020 right now? So I think it was just really shocking. Obviously, I think everybody else had that same reaction. But this was my first time going to any protest before. And obviously, I would be aware that people would be talking about, oh, well, you're 13. Why would you go to a protest? That's not safe. or oh, what about the coronavirus pandemic? You guys aren't social distancing, or why doesn't your mum or you have a mask? And it's like, well, maybe you have breathing difficulties, you never know. But I felt like it was a very massive atmosphere, and I went to 2 of them. So the first one I went to was a bit smaller, a bit of a smaller group, but we kind of collected more people as we went like through London basically. And then the second one I went to the next day was the one in Parliament Square, which was all over the news, and they had like a helicopter or like drone footage, and you could see thousands of us there. And I had no clue there were that many people until we actually heard the echo when we all kind of preach Black Lives Matter. You can hear the echo across the thing, and it's like there are different parts of the protest. So this lady who obviously organized it was in the front doing a speech, and then all these people at the back are chanting "Silence is violence" or one of the slogans, and it's like they can't even hear us, that's how many people there are. But it was definitely extremely powerful, because I feel like in the UK we're so used to kind of just not like smiling at people, just kind of not interacting with other people that we don't know. But I think also there were quite a lot of young people there as well, not like necessarily my age, but maybe around like 17, 16, around the age, kind of still supporting the movement. And the fact that we all still went there despite the pandemic that's still going on, really proves people something. Because so many people are like, well, what about the virus? People are still dying as well. And it's like, well, if you think about it, the people who have died from COVID, they already have health issues beforehand, or they maybe haven't taken their own precautions they should have taken, even if they were warned by it. But then the people in America, not only America, but around the world, especially in the UK, they're being killed because they're black, because of the colour of their skin. And people are comparing it like one is better and one is worse, or that they're both fine. And it's like, how can you even be that kind of delusional or just a bit ignorant, if I can say. But I think the biggest thing about it is just kind of thinking about, well, these black people, the people who have been murdered and killed by police, the people that are meant to keep us safe, they're being killed for no valid reason. They're not being killed because they had a weapon on them, because I think all of the people who have died with the victims, they've all been unarmed. They can't go for jogs, they can't hold a bag of Skittles, they can't put a hoodie on or put their hood on, because apparently they're either part of a gang or they're introduced something because they think it's the wrong person because of colorism, or it's just a lot of parts of it that is obviously really complicated and really sensitive to a lot of different people. But it's obviously a very big topic. And me as a mixed race girl, my dad is black, my mum is white. So growing up in society, it's like, well, would a teacher treat me differently at school if I've got slightly lighter skin than one of my black friends? Or if I was in a class with all white people, would I be treated differently just because my skin is a little bit darker? So for me growing up as a kid, it was like, how does this even work? Why is colorism still a thing? And white privilege still a thing? So I think people should really educate themselves on it. But otherwise, the protest as a whole was definitely an amazing experience all around, and I would definitely do it again.
That's fantastic. It's so good to hear you know so much about what is going on in the world at the moment, and I think that's key. And it is so important to educate people all the way down to school level, because that's where the change is going to happen. If we can teach primary school children that no one should be treated differently, and especially not black people, that will change everything. It will just, I'm hoping we're not having the same conversations in 30 years time, because that seems to be what's happening, is every 30 years something big happens and then we're back to square one again. But this time it seems to be there is a big change, and I'm so glad that it's happening, and I'm so glad that people are talking about it, because people of colour do need to be heard.
I mean, it kind of seems like a new revolution. I hope that people don't stop protesting or stop posting about it, because it's like, well, last year everything was about the earth and climate, then all of a sudden nobody's talking about it anymore.
I know.
And people think it's disappeared or something like that, something ironic. And I'm like, well, it hasn't. The topic and the global issue is still there. We just stopped posting about it because apparently it's out of trend or nobody's talking about it anymore. So why should I start talking about it again if nobody else is doing it, or none of my friends or my teachers are talking about it, or like parents at home as well? But as you were saying, in schools or just amongst young people, racism, people aren't born racist.
No.
You
can't be born racist.
Across all generations. Kids don't see colour. They just see, are you nice or are you not nice? They don't see, oh, are you black? Then I'm not going to be your friend. Or are you Indian or are you Asian? I'm not going to be your friend. They don't see that. Unless the parent tells them, you can't hang out with this girl, Molly, Stacey, because she's this colour, but you can hang out with them, or you can get this type of doll because it's this colour and not that colour. Then obviously that starts to deep root in their mindset that this is wrong and this is right, when
and then it carries on.
The human race, it just keeps on going and history repeats itself. So hopefully this decade can be the beginning of something different, the beginning of change, equality for all, because I would hate to be 20 years old and still be protesting or still talking about Black Lives Matter in like the next 15 years and still talking about the same thing that ancestors or people's grandparents have been fighting for, and still haven't actually gotten to it and haven't listened to the rights, or the police or the government or whoever it is that's obviously in charge haven't been listening to what people are actually asking from them. But there's a lot around it. Usually when I talk about it, I don't know what to say because there are so many different aspects to talk about. My brain just kind of goes from one point to the other. But kids don't see colour, and it's definitely true, and we need to unteach it. Teach them to love everyone, teach them to love each other and be kind to one another, because that is the true medicine for how we can heal this world and restore faith in humanity, as I think I've lost quite a lot of it, obviously, during lockdown and during this entire time, seeing it all on social media as well.
Okay, I had some more questions for you as well. So this really odd questions came through, actually. So where do you see yourself in 2 years' time?
In 2 years?
Yeah, it's quite a short time of I thought maybe 5 or 10, but no, 2.
Well, I'm gonna be 14 this year, so in 2 years I'll be 16. Whoa, that seems really weird.
Sweet 16.
But I'll be 16. I don't know even what I would be doing. Hopefully I'll be still auditioning for different TV shows or maybe movies. Hopefully be in some kind of TV show, or hopefully the talk show that's on Amazon Prime now will eventually be able to be put on a bigger platform. Hopefully I'll be starring in some kind, or presenting in a show.
Did you still want to take that forward as a presenter?
Yeah, definitely. Because I love obviously being on camera, but I also love being behind the camera because I love filming things, I love photography, videography, but then I also love presenting and hosting and talking to new people. So it's kind of I'm in both worlds. I have a passion for both, so whatever kind of takes me wherever, I'll go with it. But I really don't know where I see myself in 2 years. If I said that 2 years ago about me being 30 now, I wouldn't have said, oh, there's going to be this virus called coronavirus or COVID, and I'd be stuck at home for how long? But I really don't know, but we'll just kind of see what the future holds.
If anyone told you, though, that you'd be stuck at home, you wouldn't be allowed to touch other people.
I'd be like, no cinema, no McDonald's. No, I would not cope.
But so if you could pick anywhere to travel to in the next year, where would it be?
Bora Bora.
Bora Bora.
Or maybe Mexico.
Oh, I do like Mexico.
I said Mexico because we were meant to go to Mexico this year. Obviously, due to the virus, all the flights have been cancelled, so we're probably going to be going next year, which I was super upset about because last year I was like, oh my goodness, we're going to Mexico next year. Then all of a sudden this happened, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
you might enjoy it when you're a little bit older anyway. Like, I love Mexico. Have you been before though? You have?
We've never been
Oh,
before.
you haven't?
So we were meant to go, well, I was meant to go with my mum and my grandma because it's one of her dream places to go to as well. It was meant to be us like dream vacation and it got cancelled, but we'll still be going next year. But then Bora Bora, like the Four Seasons, like it's just paradise. So maybe when I'm financially stable, I'm a billionaire or millionaire in like 10 years time, I can stay in the Four Seasons in Bora Bora and just have the time of my life.
And you can take your mum as well with you.
Definitely. I don't think she would ever let me go without her. She wouldn't accept it.
Oh, she's coming.
I'm coming.
Yeah, no, definitely amazing places. And when you do go to Mexico, make sure you go to Chichen Itza because it's absolutely incredible. And go swimming in the cenotes because we did that and it was amazing. I've got a couple more questions. Do you ever feel like you're less connected with your friends and only have Instagram friends?
Wow, that seems like really on me. I feel a bit like personally attacked. I feel like, well, to some degree, I would say yes.
I think yes as well. I agree with you. Like, as in, because they've asked both of us it. So, I mean, yeah, I think obviously you have your online friends, don't you? That are an amazing community. But we also like to meet up in real life. But at the moment, that's not doable. So. Yes, I mean, hopefully those friends online will translate into real life friends, you'd hope.
I mean, for me, it's kind of like I have a lot of friends from school that still follow me on like YouTube or Instagram here. But then I've met a lot of people through social media and then I end up meeting them at different events and I just click with them so much better than my normal friends at school. It's probably because we have a lot of things to relate to or how to deal with different things. Like if we're both stressed because we have something to do that's to do with media or something like that, I can't talk to that with my friends from school because they don't know what advice to give you because they never went through it before. So to some degree, I would say yes, we're a bit more connected to people I know or have met through social media. But otherwise, I still love my friends from school. I see them every single day, so obviously I'm really close with them. But if I do end up FaceTiming with my friends or seeing one of my Instagram friends post, I'm like, oh my goodness, we really need to meet up, or I miss you so much. So it's still there, definitely, but I would say a bit of both, yeah. Definitely
a bit of both. Someone asked me how scared was I when launching my first product. I was pretty scared because you put so much work into it, and then to put it out there, and even if you get 100 amazing comments and one negative comment, you always remember.
It still hurts to some extent, yeah.
Yeah, so I was really scared about it all. I was really, really scared. And then when I did get some negative comments, I took them really to heart. And I was like, right, this has to change. Like, we've got to change everything. But really, it was more sort of tweaking it, not completely changing the product. It's just sort of making small tweaks along the way.
I mean, if I listen to every single person that's put like a type of critique comment on one of my videos, my name or my username would be changing 24/7. So it's like if you told Apple, oh, I don't really like the name of it, can you change it? Can you change the logo? It's like, yeah, sure, do whatever you say. Then another person comes in and they say, actually, I don't really like the name or like this type of phone, can you change it? Yeah, sure. I don't really like the name Apple either. Maybe let's change it to Pear or Blueberry or something like that. But if people just kept changing it, then obviously they're in control and it's your business. You should be in control of that. So I definitely agree with you. I think everybody's scared at one point when they launch a brand or account because there is always going to be somebody kind of telling you what you should do and what you shouldn't. But as long as you kind of know what to do and you're kind of following your heart and your gut feeling, everything should turn out pretty okay.
And at least you've tried your best then, and at least you've given it
Yes.
110%.
Trying your best is really important. I saw that in your username, or that on your account, is that in 2019 you were featured on Forbes 30 Under 30. That is an amazing achievement, by the way. Congratulations for like last year, but congratulations anyway. It's an amazing achievement. How did you feel when you got featured?
Well, thank you. Honestly, making that list was one of the big goals for me. I wanted it. Oh my God, like I've wanted it for so long, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you on there
Maybe
one day.
we'll see.
You've got a lot of time yet, so you're okay. But yeah, I mean, for me, when I got it was through an email that we got, basically saying you have been you are on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list.
Wow.
This year, and I literally had to like check the email, like to check if it
Make
was
sure it's legitimate, not any scam.
Yeah, and then I was like, right, no, I'm going to go on Forbes's web page just to double check it. But then I got loads of notifications through starting coming. Oh my God, you made the Forbes list, you made the Forbes list. And I was like, oh, and then I
This
saw...
is real.
It's real, yeah, it's actually happening. But then I saw Daniel Radcliffe made the Forbes list the same year as me, and then that made me like even more happy. Like that, I'm a super Harry Potter fan, so I literally was like, no, actually, the biggest thing is that I'm on the list with him. But yeah, it was fantastic. It's a feeling that you can't explain. It's like once it happens, it's like, oh wow, this is real. This is actually happening to me. All that hard work, and yeah, it's been a long time coming, and I actually never thought I would make the list. I wanted to, and I've always sort of thought in my head, yep, that's the goal. But you know, I'm going to be completely honest here. We're all scared. Like we all get doubts and we all get nervous. If you're not nervous, I don't know. Maybe you have something that I don't. But I've always been like doubtful of myself, and I constantly have to reassure myself, saying no. Do believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. And Matt, who you've met, is always super positive about everything. But I'm sure you've had days like that as well, haven't you, over the course of your career as a speaker, where I think you said you like stopped your YouTube for a bit because you found it quite overwhelming. And I found that really inspiring that you went out there and told people about it, because a lot of people don't want to say anything like that. They just hide behind closed doors, and I'm one of those that hides, and I need to speak up more about it.
Yeah, so I think it was last year, I think around June, and I think from the beginning of the year I had been doing like daily videos, and if I was doing daily videos now, I have like enough content to last me for the end of the year if my mum didn't like schedule the videos for 3 times a week, or maybe 4 times a week. But I have a lot of content now. But then when I had a few exams coming up, like end of term exams, and I was just kind of stressing about that, and then I was like, okay, I need to edit this video and then also revise for this test. Like my mental health just going all over the place. So I just kind of said to my mum, obviously I'm not stopping, I'm not quitting, I'm not saying I don't love what I do, because I clearly do, but I just need to take a break to focus on my school stuff and just like take a breather, because I honestly got to that point where I literally burned out. Like I didn't want to do it anymore, rather than I would do it without somebody telling me to do it, if that makes sense. So I just felt a bit burned out by it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take this to my YouTube channel. I'm not just going to disappear for like a month or a few weeks, then everyone's going to be like, where did you go? So I was like, okay, I have to do an explanation video about it. But I think it's really important, as we were saying before, that you need to have that authenticity. Authenticity.
Yeah.
No. Is that word?
Yeah.
I thought I was pronouncing it incorrectly, but you need to have that and have a lot of integrity as well. So I was like, I need to be as real with my followers as possible, because I can't just keep acting like I'm absolutely fine and still being as bubbly as I usually am, even though my head is in the wrong place when I'm filming the video, because it eventually does show off on camera. Like, very slowly but surely, people are going to be like, she doesn't seem as happy as she was like last year or a few weeks ago. So it will start showing off and rubbing off on people. And I was like, I don't want to be giving people negative energy when they're watching my videos, because they come to me when they're feeling down. So I can't be filming videos when I'm down. That's not going to make them feel any better as well. But yeah, I took a break off YouTube for around a month, and then I was like, I can't do daily videos after I took my break off, because there'll be no point of taking the break. So I just went back to doing, I think 2 times a week, and then I was like, okay, I think I'm a bit okay now, we can do 3 times a week. But I think it was just kind of that learning curve, and learning when I should take a break and when I should really focus on myself. And also recently, when it was Mental Health Awareness Week or month, I did a post kind of about me feeling a bit upset.
I saw that one.
Not really upset, but just kind of in the wrong headspace. Obviously in lockdown, because I've been dealing with it well, but slowly, or at some points in this time period, I've just felt extremely down. And for me, I just kept giving myself this high expectation, like, Vanessa, you can't be upset, you can't be down, because you don't know what other people are going through. They're probably going through something worse than you are. So I'd end up comparing my mental health to theirs, and then being like, well, for me to feel better about myself, I need to help other people, even if that means challenging my mental health to help someone else's. And I had to really understand that for myself, like, no, I can't help other people if I'm not helping myself first. I can't be positive around other people if I'm not happy myself. So
it's so brave though.
To be on top of that, yeah. It was very nerve-wracking. I was like, am I going to do this? Am I not? And then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put it into a video. It's not going to be like a very long video, but I'm just going to put it into a video. Show myself.
But it came across
vulnerable. Yeah.
Very
I'm
well.
glad I got the feedback, yeah.
It was fantastic. I think it was probably the most scary thing you've done, but it was the most incredible thing. And I think it resonated with so many people. Because you were real, they were able to be completely real back. Because you're always... Some people you put on this facade, even when you meet someone for the first time, you're always like a bit hesitant and you're always like really upbeat, etc. But it's important to show our flaws sometimes and the things that upset us, because then it allows other people to connect with you on a deeper level.
Definitely, 100% agree with you on that one. And for anybody who is interested in getting the Creative Nature products, where can we buy them?
Okay, so yeah, you can get our baking mixes. Our home baking mixes are in Tesco stores in the home baking aisle. You can get the banana bread, as everyone's been going crazy for that over lockdown.
I love banana bread.
I'll have to get you some over. And also you can get them in Sainsbury's and Asda stores as well. The Normals have just launched, and Vanessa actually tried those ones. She tried the old ones, but we've got brand new ones out as well. So she'll be getting some of those very soon. They actually have just launched on our website and Amazon. And then we have snack bars as well, and they're available through selected co-op stores. And also we're stocked across, I think it's 14 countries now. So you should be able to get them in quite a few countries.
Well, that is amazing. So for anybody who is going to the store and they're like, well, I remember the interview Inspiring Vanessa did with Julianne, I need to go to this aisle and find that Creative Nature product and try it out, and also post it online and tag Creative Nature, and that way Julianne can repost it and see what you guys have been up to, obviously during lockdown as well. But as any final words for you, Julianne, do you have any words of wisdom or advice to give to someone who wants to be a business owner but doesn't know where to start during quarantine?
I would say during quarantine you've got a lot of options, so you can try lots of different things. So yeah, I would say just jot down a few ideas to start with, and really just take one of them forward, see how far you get. Talk to other people in the industry that you're going into. Entrepreneurs are always willing to give their 2 pence, as long as you ask nicely, because they do have a lot of things on their mind a lot of the time. So yeah, I would say just start really small if you can, and be as confident as possible when you go out there. There is going to be negativity, I'm not going to lie to you, but as long as you learn from that negativity and you learn to adapt and make your product or your service better, no one is going to, like, you're always going to be ahead of the person that hasn't bothered.
Well, thank you so much for being my guest today. And thank you for your questions as well, the people who sent in questions to you to ask me and yourself as well. It was amazing speaking to you and kind of catching up on what you've been up to and a bit about your journey as well, as what you do is extremely inspiring, and you're obviously a very big, like, aspirational inspiration to me as well, because you are a female entrepreneur and you've gotten so far as well, and you're probably going to achieve so much more in the future as well. So thank you so much for being my guest today.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I think we should do a bake-off one time where I send you a banana
I'm
bread.
I'm not the best at baking, but I can definitely do a cute post about it on Instagram.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, and thank you everyone who joined. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of Inspiring Vanessa very soon.
Well, thank you so much. Everybody go and follow Creative Nature and Julianne's personal Instagram as well. And I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks so much. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Well, this is the end of the interview. I hope you all enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed speaking to Julianne, a little bit about her business and about what she's been up to and how to stay motivated, which is extremely important. As I said before, go and follow Creative Nature and see their new products that have been coming out, because they are delicious. And also follow Julianne's Instagram, which is a bit more about her as a business owner and an entrepreneur. But otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed it. This interview will be up on IGTV and also YouTube, so feel free to ask us any questions in the comments of the IGTV video, and then we'll be answering those if you had any questions that didn't get answered. But otherwise, I'll speak to you all soon. I love you all so much, and stay safe and use your voice, because it's really important. All right, I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye. And you did right from the start.